You know, many homeowners are out this time of year either aerating, verticutting, or scalping their lawns. And really there needs to be a reason for you to go out and do those types of projects. For example, if you've got compacted soils, it would be a good idea to go ahead and aerate your lawn. But to just go out every year and scalp or verticut is not a good idea. As a matter of fact, some of the research shows there's really no benefits to that practice, especially on a yearly basis. And scalping the lawn, you can actually get more encroachment from some of the weeds. Now, there are some reasons, though, that it is necessary to go and scalp or verticut your lawn. And you want to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing before you get out and tackle that project. The main reason would be if you had a thatch problem. Now, what is thatch exactly? And is a little bit good, and when does it get bad? Well, when you walk across your lawn, if you notice some spongy feeling, that's probably a pretty good sign right off the bat. But the best way is just to get into your grass and pull it apart and look at it. And thatch is an area that's going to be below the leaf blades, right on the soil surface. And it's the area where the stolons and the rhizomes and root system is outgrowing its decomposition process, and that's usually a result of over-fertilization and over-watering. What happens is the roots in those particular parts of the grass have a lignin base to them, or they're a waxier base, so they don't break down as quickly, and therefore you'll get a good thick pileup of them. And if it's usually more than 2 inches or around 2 inches, that's where you get a severe problem. Now, with thatch problems, what happens is it can hold too much moisture and actually increase the disease problems. Plus, if you're putting fertilizer or chemicals on, they're not going to penetrate through that thatch layer. So again, thatch really should be controlled with scalping, but only if you need to. And most lawns really aren't a big problem if you watch your watering and fertilizing. Our lawns here, we really don't have any kind of a thatch problem at all. And usually you'll notice it more on some of the improved varieties of Bermuda grass, where if you have common Bermuda grass or buffalo grass, thatch is really not much of a problem at all. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions about thatch, though, is that leaving your grass clippings on the lawn will cause thatch, and really that's not a true statement. Grass clippings don't have as much lignin, so they break down much quicker and they decompose quickly, adding nutrients back to the soil. Plus, a little bit of that will actually help in moisture retention. Well, over the past few years on Oklahoma Gardening, we've talked many times about the problem of disposing lawn clippings into our increasingly limited landfill space. In fact, in communities like Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, which mostly consist of single-family residences, lawn clippings were found to make up 50% or more of the volume of solid waste disposal during the summer months. To address this problem, the city of Broken Arrow instituted a pilot program called Don't Bag It in the summer of 1991. To find out more about the program and its results, we visited with Environmental Coordinator for the city of Broken Arrow, Mr. Mark Higgins.
The Don't Bag It program was started through the Broken Arrow Recycling Committee. We were studying all kinds of different available options for waste reduction and recycling for the city of Broken Arrow. And one of the things we discovered was the Don't Bag It program developed at Texas A&M University. The program is basically painless for residents. It's a waste reduction program, whereas grass clippings are left on the lawn rather than bagged up for disposal to the landfill. We discovered it was very easy for the average resident to incorporate in their lawn maintenance practices. It works for them, it provides a healthy turf, and it worked for the city. It cut down on costs in the pickup and disposal of the grass for the city sanitation crews.
For this trial, 20 homes were chosen as test sites that had to adhere to a specific set of guidelines throughout the summer.
They had to water according to the program, which is basically less watering than most people normally do with their turf. They had to fertilize less frequently, and basically that's because the grass clippings supply tremendous amount of nutrients back to the turf, and they had to mow a little bit more often to better grind up the grass clippings and get them back into the lawn. We had a tremendous response from the residents of Broken Arrow. They knew about mulching mowers, they knew about the problem of landfill disposal and how much yard waste makes up. So the hardest part was actually picking the 20 demonstrators.
Before getting involved with the Don't Bag It program, Gary and Ellen Miller also took their lawn trimming problems curbside.
That was the thing to do. That's what everybody seems like did at the time, and a lot of people still do, but everybody bags their grass and hauls it out, sets it in front of the house, and lets somebody else worry about it, and we did the same thing.
I have to mow a little often, more often, for the fact that the grass, you can't cut it too short, and you can't let the grass grow too long, because when you're mulching it, you don't want a long blade of grass. And as a result, I was mowing more often but less grass, and I wasn't bagging it. And I didn't have to water as much either. We did the fertilizing, but it was in moderation. Like I said, I didn't have to water as much, and the grass itself retained moisture from the mulching. And it was just a good program all around.
I was concerned before we started that we might see a difference, and I thought, well, there's no way this yard will look as good as it does now as often as we water and everything. But I can honestly say we couldn't tell any difference, and even the neighbors commented that how well our lawn looked, and so there was no difference in the way it looked after we started to use the mulching mower.
Rainy weather and summer vacations can be a big problem for a strict lawn maintenance program such as this. Gary explains how he handled the situation.
If we knew we were going to be gone for a while, obviously when we came back the grass would be taller than it normally would. And when we mowed, then it would leave some grass laying on top, and then we would either rake that up or put the catcher on the back of the mower, and we would use that for mulch. And we've started making mulch for our garden, which we're going to plant this spring for the first time. So that gave us some good mulch.
I was really pleased with the program. There was a lot less labor. I could sit back and enjoy my yard. I can enjoy mowing it and getting the same results of a plush yard with less labor.
By mowing more often, of course, the mower pushes easier. If you have tall grass and you only mow every 5 or 6 days, it's harder to push the mower through. If you mow more often, the mower, this is a John Deere, is a self-propelled mower, and we're real pleased with it. But any mower would push easier through the grass if you don't let it get quite so high. So that's what makes the time that it takes to finish the job less.
Well, it's obvious that the Millers are sold on the program, but what about the other 19 participants?
We sent out 2 surveys throughout the midterm and then at the end. The results were that every single demonstrator either had a quality of lawn that was the same or better. All 20 demonstrators said they indeed liked the program and would continue the program. They produced no grass clippings for the landfill, and their lawns were beautiful throughout the year.
Here's the final numbers on the Broken Arrow Don't Bag It test trial. They estimate that there were 7,000 less lawn bags that went to the landfill in the summer of 1991. Well, we'd like to encourage you to try some of these practices in your lawn, and remember, you're going to have to mow a little bit more often at what we call the 1/3 rule, and that means never remove more than 1/3 of the grass clippings at a mowing time. And don't forget to cut back on that water and fertilizer amount too. Well, why don't you try these experiments at your home, and then if you have any success with it, be sure and let us know here at Oklahoma Gardening.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.